Okay.
Take it for the summer.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm coming in tomorrow. I'm coming back tomorrow, Brother Hashem.
Okay, so I'll meet up with you and I'll give it to you.
Thank you. Okay, no, the oil doesn't have to suffer, so you give a shkoyah to Aaron. Okay, so let's go. Yeah.
That's what makes Anshe Harris the minion it is.
There you go. Baruch Hashem.
Oh yeah, for Aaron for the shameless plug.
There you go. Okay. Gershon Russell's on yet?
No, not yet.
He's probably still eating my Sat's barbecue.
Because he asked me for a parking spot in my driveway. I said, because it's the 8, I'm just not sure what he needs it for. Didn't ask. It was not my business. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so we're on the top line, Ayin Amud Aleph. Right, so we're talking about the... No, I'm sorry. No, we didn't know. No, Samach Tes Amud Beis.
Yes.
We're going to Samach Tes Amud Beis with the Sefer Torah. Right, about 2, 3, 6 lines up in the bottom. The Korah Acharei Mois, Pach Be'esah. Right, so then what happens? The Kohen Gadol leads Acharei Mois.
Today is Ayin, no?
Well, we didn't finish
we
this.
left over the bottom.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Korah Acharei Mois, Pach Be'esah. So you read Acharei Mois, and then Ach Be'esah. And then he closes, and then he does Baal Peh. Right, but the bottom line is that he has to jump. He has to jump from one parsha to the next. Right? So the Gemara answered the minhag Eski Akasha Stira Medalgin B'Navi Vein Medalgin B'Torah. You're allowed to skip. In Navi, you're allowed to skip. Like sometimes in hatorah, it skips. Vein medalgin b'Torah, and you're not medalgin the Torah. Yeah, so the Gemara says like Kasha, Kan b'Kedei, the Yaftik hatorah. One is talking about where he jumped enough time that the Torah is going to have to stop and wait. In Kan b'Kedei Shalei Yaftik hatorah, and here it's talking about where he was not maftik with the Torah. Meaning the way it worked back then is that they read a pasuk or a couple of psukim, and then the Torah went over the pasuk and typed it. So if he could jump from one parsha to another parsha with the amount of time that it takes for the Torah to translate, then it's not going to be a tircha de sibura, and therefore he's going to be okay. It's not that you're allowed to skip. But if it's going to be longer than that, then you're not allowed to skip. Right? So therefore, by the Torah, so you can only skip for as much as the Turgaman is going to be still translated. But by Navi, it's more makeup. So okay, so that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara asked, but we said on this Mishna, we said Medalgin ben Navi, vein Medalgin ben Torah. It says the first you're allowed to jump around in the Navi, but you're not allowed to be Medalgin in the Torah. But and how much are you allowed to skip even in Navi? In Navi, the Gemara is saying that you're only allowed to do as much time as it's going to take the translator to translate. But in the Torah, you're not allowed to skip at all. Meaning in the Havamina, we thought that the difference between Navi and Torah is that by Navi, you're allowed to skip as much as you want. And Torah, you can only skip the amount of time that it's going to take for the Torah. And now the Gemara is saying the Ferish and in Torah, you're not allowed to. The Gemara is quoting the Gemara over there that says that it's not by Navi. You're allowed to skip only for the amount of time that it's going to take to translate. And in Torah, you're not allowed to skip at all. So no, one is talking about in one Indian, and the other one's talking about two different Indians. Right? So when you go from one Indian to another Indian, so then that's not allowed. But to go into one Indian, that's allowed. That's allowed. But Tanya, we have a brayta. This is not a kasha. This Tanya is a raya. But Tanya, the Talgin b'Torah b'Inyan echad, you're allowed to skip in the Torah in one Indian. But Navi b'shnei Inyan, and in a Navi, you're allowed to even skip in two Inyan. Tan b'kan, But in both cases, Sayin, Navi, Sayin, Torah, you're only allowed to skip enough that the Turgoman is not going to have to sit quiet. If you're skipping far enough that the Turgoman is going to be quiet, then that's not allowed. And you're not allowed to jump from one Navi to another Navi, meaning from one Sefer to another Sefer. But in the tray also, which is at the end of the Nevi'im, those are 12 very short, each one is their own Sefer, but it's very short. There's 12 of them. So there you are allowed to jump from one to the other, which is what we do in the hatorah. I think the hatorah in Yom Kippur we do that. Right? Then on top of that, but you're not allowed to
Yaakov, not Yom Kippur, Shabbos Shuvah, they do that.
Is it Shabbos Shuvah?
Yeah.
Yom Kippur also, they don't, there's not skipping in the master.
Oh, maybe, but Shabbos Shuvah is the Shabbos.
Shabbos Shuvah could be right. Shabbos Shuvah, you could really skip around 3 times according to what.
Right, it's 3 times they move it, yeah.
Yeah, very good, yeah. Right, so the Gemara says, so you don't jump from the end to the beginning. Rashi says, it means you're not allowed to go backwards. Tosfos says, Tosfos disagrees. Right? So Tosfos says it means to go from the end to the beginning, and you can't go from you don't want to jump from the end of one sefer to the beginning of another. Right? So okay, but that's the Machlokes Rashi Tosfos. But there is a time that we do skip. I don't know if the Olam is aware of it, but on a tainis tzibur coming up Sunday, Bez Hashem, on a tainis tzibur we do skip in the Torah. We skip a few psukim to get to the slicha that Hashem gives Klal Yisrael.
By Levi, the Leah from Levi, no?
Yeah. Is it Levi or is it Klal Yisrael? I don't know, whatever it is, it skips a few psukim, but that's not a problem. Yeah. Okay, fine. So that's that. But gadol sefer Torah. So we said then you roll the sefer Torah. The whole kaf lama. Why did the kohen gadol? Meaning, here's again the case where the subject matter is the Gemara right. So gadol sefer Torah. That's not what this Gemara is going on. It's going on the next sentence, which is that the kohen gadol says that more than what's written in here is more than what I said is written in the Torah. The whole kaf lama. Why does he need to announce that? Because he doesn't want anybody to say that the Sefer Torah, what happens? He reads one parsha, then he skips the other parsha, then he reads the third parsha Baal Peh. People are going to say, it must be the reason why he's saying it Baal Peh is because there's something wrong with the Sefer Torah. So therefore he announces that it has nothing to do with it.
Why doesn't it mention?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why doesn't it mention that he does this in the week that he's preparing to have him locked up? Why it never mentions that he has to practice laning, whatever? He's bucky in laning. Yeah, he doesn't know what a sheep looks like, but he's a bucky. He's a balkaira. It's a side job for him.
Well, I understand what you're saying. That he doesn't.
It doesn't mention till this is the last payrik. And the first Mishna starts, we lock him up for a week to go over the whole routine with him. And then here it just says he starts laning. It doesn't talk about that he has to lane. They practice laning with him. Nothing. I
mean, didn't everybody back then know how to lane? Or is that
I have no idea. I have zero idea.
So Yaakov, the Gemara in Megillah says that everybody had to lane their own aliyah.
Everyone laned their own piece.
Yeah, the Gemara in Megillah talks about it.
Yeah, but this is not his own aliyah. This is laning of Yom Kippur.
No, everybody that they called up, they laned that part. Sometimes people refused it or didn't accept it because they weren't bucky in what they were supposed to lane. But it's not like we're preparing him for the bar mitzvah,
Okay.
But what was I going to say? I just forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, that's what I thought, that it's going to be that they're all that they all knew how to read the Torah. But yeah, I rather saw Meister today. Now that you say it, I was just confusing me. I was reading this the book on Rabbi Belsky, and they needed about Torah, and I think it was there Stroll or something. They said, "Ask Rabbi Belsky." So they said, "What? A Rosh Hashiva knows how to lay?" So it's mamish like you. It's mamish like you. The kohen gadol knows how to lay too. Look at that. Yeah. Anyway, the mamish Muhammad did. I can't believe I read that story this morning. Yeah. Okay. So the Ba'asa Shechumash Epikudim Kar al Peh. He reads about Peh. So why do you have to read about Peh? The Gemara says, "Amai nigla amai." Why? Why nigla v'nigla? Let him roll the Sefer Torah there, and read it. I mean, it's far, but you should read it, right? Yeah. So.
See, Yaakov, better hope that's not a camp mice.
I hope not. Yeah. Yes. I hope they don't expect that. Anyways, yeah. So the Gemara's kasha is, why doesn't he roll? Why doesn't he roll it there, right? So the question is, what do you mean? We just got finished saying you can't roll it that far, right? The places Yishonim says here that that's essentially what the Gemara is asking here is, why taka can't you roll it? What's so shver if you roll the Sefer Torah and you make everybody wait? But the Gemara answers,
the whole is a real thing.
Right. That's what the Gemara's teretz is going to be. But it's a little difficult to understand what's the havamina, what's the maskana going on over here. Then anyways, again, amai nigol v'nikri. Why don't you take a roll the Sefer Torah and read it? Amar Avuna brother Rav Yeshua, Amar Rav Sheshes, Yishain gadol and Sefer Torah, but tzibur, they cover the tzibur. Right, so you don't roll the Sefer Torah by the tzibur, because it doesn't say tircha the tzibur. It says covered tzibur, which Rashi says that they're going to sit around and they're waiting. It doesn't say like that's a tircha. It just says that they're just sitting and waiting for something, and then that's not right. Yeah, it's not covered for everybody to sit around and just.
It's funny. Rashi says to sit around in silence.
Yeah.
Who sits around in silence nowadays?
Very good. I mean, if he would have said that the island would have ended up schmoozing, maybe that's what he means. Maybe they wouldn't be able to sit there in silence and end up talking. I don't know. I hear it. But whatever it is, it's not covered at tzibur. Okay. Yeah.
Anybody on this island who wasn't Baruch Shlomo doesn't know what the word that covered at tzibur means. They don't see it anyplace.
Yeah, that's fair.
He always said over from Rabbi Yeshua Leib Diskin that a tzibur has a din of an adam gadol. That's the chshivas of a tzibur. It becomes an adam gadol. All the parts together become an adam gadol. So if you wouldn't make Shalivmi well Reb Chaim to wait for anything, so a tzibur shouldn't wait either, because it's choshuv.
Right. Yeah, I hear that. But that's covered for the tzibur. That fits with this tomorrow. Okay. Saying what says v'nesi achrini v'nikri. So why don't you bring another Sefer Torah? Right? Because it's the gam for the first Sefer Torah. And people are going to think, must be the first Sefer Torah is messed up. Therefore, they have to bring another Sefer Torah. No, it's because they're going to have to make a new bracha. If you bring a new Sefer Torah, you're going to have to make a new bracha. And the new bracha is, we don't want you to make brachas unnecessarily, which is a loaded thing as it is. Right? What's wrong with making another bracha? Isn't that what we do with aliyahs every week? Seven aliyahs? Is this a raya also against making hasafas? No? Who's the Kabbal? No?
Yaakov, I don't think we need a raya against the suffers.
You say tircha de tzibur, you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing. That's not a bracha shein the tzricha.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm just because Shmuel mentioned this morning with the COVID mice, so where the Balkar got every aliyah, but he made it he got called up 7 or 8 times, or whatever it is.
Right, he said all the brachos.
He said all the brachos, and it wasn't a surprise. He was getting all the aliyahs. He knew going in he was getting all the aliyahs.
But right. But you're right. This for COVID. This is mashma mamash, not like the COVID. What the oil did with the COVID. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Fine. So the Gemara says, are we charged for the begam of the sacred Torah? Or Yisuf Nafal Rosh Chodesh Tevis Shecholi is for Shabbos. So we had this past year. No, it was three sifrei Torahs this year. Rosh Chodesh Tevis meaning Shabbos Hanukkah, right? So Rosh Chodesh falls out on Shabbos. We in Shalish Torahs, you bring 3 Torahs. The Kohen Achas and Yonah Shal Yom. One, you read that with Parsha. Brachos Shel Rosh Chodesh, Brachos Shel Hanukkah. Right? So you read Rosh Chodesh and Hanukkah. So you see, you bring 3 different sifrei Torah. And we're actually, I don't know, why do you have to jump to such a, don't we do this every Yom Tif? Right? So why does one have to go to that extreme case? Every Yom Tif you take 2 sifrei Torah.
You don't have 3. Only like twice a year you could have 3, I think. Aaron,
I'm saying, but
right?
why? Right. But what I'm saying, it's only, but why can't you?
See, Shabbos Hanukkah, you take Shabbos Hanukkah, Rosh Chodesh, you take at 3, and then I think some.
Well, that's what this case is.
And then Parshas Zachor, Parshas Zachor, if it falls out.
If it falls out of Rosh Chodesh.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's
otherwise,
one of the Parshas.
Right. Otherwise, you don't need 3.
No, but why do you have to bring a raya from 3 sifrei Torah? How about why isn't it a pagam by 2 sifrei Torah? Why is the Gemara going to 3? Even 2. What's the other one going to say?
You mean why do you have to go so as I write?
Yeah. I'm saying next 2 weeks from Shabbos is going to have also right. Try to falls out on Shabbos. I don't know. For some reason,
why a Shabbos Chazayin, you mean?
Unless maybe the oilam is not going to Shabbos for Chodesh Av is Shabbos, right? So the thing is, maybe because maftir, nobody's going to think. Everybody knows that maftir is a separate Indian. Maybe that's why nobody would think that it's a pagam of the first Torah. Maybe. All right, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the Gemara's kasha. The Gemara says plus the gavre, the plus the sifrei, lek pagama. 3 people, 3 aliyahs, and 3 different sifrei Torah. That's fine. Chad gavre, but sifrei you could pagama. But if it's 1 person being called up to sifrei Torah, that's already a pagam. So there, the kohen gadol is being called up with 2 sifrei Torah, right? So that would be a pagam. Yeah, fine. Mavarach al Shemona brachos, and he makes 8 brachos. Tanavana. What are the brachos? Ala Torah. The derashim mavarachim the Beis HaKnesses. It's the same way you do it on a shul. And right, the brachos you make after the Torah. Ala avoda, ala gadol, ala mechilas avoda ketikna. Right, the regular way they were mistaken it. In haida and mechilas avoda in regular davening. Ala mikdash v'nei atzmai. He makes a bracha, a separate bracha for the Beis HaMikdash. Ba'al Teihanim v'nei Atzman, and for the Teihanim, Ba'al Yisrael v'nei Atzman, and for the Yisraelim, Ba'al Shar Tefillah, and for others, and for the rest of the davening. Yeah.
Are these
that's basically what is? Yeah.
Are these the brachas that we make by hatorah?
I thought some of them were, but I'm not sure.
Because Rashi says on the Mishna. Rashi says on the Mishnah, the ones I thought were hatorah. Rashi says one is Moedim, the Moedim and Shemona Esrei. I can't remember what the other ones were. I don't have a Gemara in front of me. But Rashi says the first 3 were from Shemona Esrei.
Avoda is Ritzei.
Right.
Right.
And hatorah is Moedim. And there was another one. It was straight out of Shemona Esrei.
I think I call it I think it means Al-Atar and Kadesh Mavarim is the Knesset means the bracha after the Torah. Meaning Hashem Nos Alonu Torah Emes. Right? That's what that is. And then there's a whole Shaila in the Rishonim whether you make the bracha before or not. Right? But that's what this is. This is the bracha. I said hatorah, but it means the bracha after the regular. That's what it is. Yeah. Fine. Okay. So let's see. There's a Torah about a B'shara tefillah, and the rest of the davening is what? Rina, China, Bakasha, Milfanecha. Right? It says Rina is praise, and China is davening. Bakasha Milfanecha is also asking from Hashem. Alam Yisrael shetzrichen lehivasha, and for the nation of Klal Yisrael that need to be saved. And he finishes with Shemei Tefillah. Maybe say the Torah mibeisai. And then this is also this is a lot of raid, as they say on this line. Maybe say the Torah. Everybody brings the Sefer Torah from their house. The Torah by Kedei Laharetz Chazusa L'Ravim, and they read from the Torah, from their own personal Torahs, in order to show everybody that they want to show off the sifrei Torah. Right? So we have to just see the Rashi here. If you look into the Rashi, if you go into Rashi and then up about 10 lines, the Rashi says, Laharis Chazusei L'Ravim, Laharis Noyav Shel Sefer Torah, V'Tiferes Aleh Shetarach L'Snois B'Mitzvah. You're not showing off that you're such a wealthy guy that you have a Sefer Torah. You're showing off of all the work that went into make Sefer Torah so beautiful. Because it says that Keli V'Anveyu. Right? This is Hashem and make him beautiful. It's not lefanav of mitzvahs lulav. It's not lefanav of mitzvahs. Do make mitzvahs beautiful. Lulav no, the Torah no, the klaf no, the diyai no, the lavlar uman erev Yom Kippur and he brought it from Erev Yom Kippur. That's something else. The Rashi says they didn't bring the sifrei Torah in Yom Kippur. They brought it from Erev Yom Kippur. But either way, you see from here that there's such a concept of showing off your lulav. And lulav obviously means lulav and etziv. Yeah, meaning there's something to making mitzvahs beautiful, and that's not considered gaiva by showing it off. Yeah? So that's where, yeah.
Out of curiosity, does that mean the silver box, the nicest silver asterisk box you can find, that's what you're showing off, or the asterisk itself?
No, the asterisk itself. That the silver box is an extension. It's a hechsher mitzvah. I don't even know what the hechsher is. I don't even know what it's defined as.
Is it anything?
I hope it's nothing, because I have a plain old cardboard box. So I mean, obviously it's something. How about a menorah? Right? A menorah is also a thing to have a nice menorah. Even though that's not part of it.
Yeah, but a menorah, you can't have the neiris without the menorah.
True.
Or a silver hatorah.
That's silver hatorah. Yeah. Okay, whatever it is. But
part of the
point is from this. Yeah, that's, well, I don't know if the hatorah is
with esrog, it's not.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So from this Gemara, from this Gemara with the Rashi, you see that there is such a concept of showing off beauty. That's beauty for the covered of mitzvah. Okay, fine. Right. So whoever saw the kohen gadol, you couldn't see everything at once. It wasn't possible. It's just pshita, it's pashut that you could theoretically go from one to the other. It's just not possible. No, so Ma'adas, then we could do Rish Lakish. Dama Rish Lakish ain't ma'birin ala mitzvah. So Rish Lakish says you're not allowed to pass over a mitzvah. And you would think that this is also a mitzvah, to watch the kohen gadol do the Yom Kippur avoda. There's a mitzvah. So once you're there, you can't leave. Right? So then that's what the Havamida was. My mitzvah, what would be the mitzvah? The Rav Amhad just tell us that the more people watching is more beauty for the king. And Mamela, by you leaving, you're making it one less. Kamash V'lan, no, that you're allowed to. Which Rashi says, what's the Kamash V'lan? That's not called being over on the mitzvah, because you're not the one doing the mitzvah. Right? So since you're not the one doing the mitzvah, that's not called a mavir no mitzvah. Yeah? So I just wonder, this is very negaya to a lot of people. So when you go to a chasana, right, you're not, if you do a chasana, you have to stay there, right? Because it's a simcha sasim v'kala, and the more people that are there, the more simcha there is. Does that mean you're allowed to leave one chasana to go to another chasana? Because there, you're part of the mitzvah. Or do you say no, just You're just a spectator. But here, by the chasana, they say that the spectators is what causes the simcha. So maybe you're not allowed to go from one chasana to another, according to this. But I don't know.
Here it's mashma that even if you're not part of the mitzvah, there's a separate mitzvah, Baravam Hadras Melech. The Kol's not doing anything. The gadol is doing the whole mitzvah. But there's a Baravam just because there's spectators.
Right, but by a chasana you are.
The chasana is worse. You're actually part of the mitzvah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe you can't go from one to the other. Okay, let's see about this. Look the Mishna, yeah? This is the last Mishna of all the kohen gadol's avoda. Yeah? So in a big day vote, so if he reads the Sefer Torah with his linen clothing, Kiddush Yadav Raglav, he washes his hands and feet, Pashad Yadav V'Tavel, he takes off his clothing, goes down, Toivel, all of in the spot, stop it, he gets up and he dries himself, Avila Big Day Zav. They bring him his golden clothing, V'Lavash, and he wears it, the Kiddush Yadav Raglav, and he washes his hands and feet, which we had around 30, 40 lot ago, that he has to do that every time he takes off the clothing and puts on new clothing. That was the Machlokes, exactly when he has to do that, but that's what any time there's a change of clothes, before and after requires washing his hands. And then he does his ram, right, and the ram that belongs to Klal Yisrael. These are in addition to all the other korbanos. Shivas kvasim tmimim b'nei shana, and he has 7 kvasim tmimim that are less than a year old. He didn't bring it after the krias of Torah. He brought it with the Tamid Shel Shachar. And the next line in the Mishnah is the Gemara is going to discuss, because is this a comma here, or exactly how do you type this next line? Upar ha'oila, and the par, that's an oila, the seir hanasa b'chutz, and the seir that he's makriv outside, right, meaning in the chutzah. Are you craving him Tamid Shel Bein Arbayim? Those get brought into Tamid Shel Bein Arbayim. So now the question is, where do you put the comma here? And Rabbi Eliezer doesn't say anything about these korbanos. Right? It's only Rabbi Akiva saying something. Right? So the question is, where does the comma go? Do you say Im Tamid Shel Shachar how you craven upara oila b'sira nasa b'chutz? Right? Or do you say para oila comma sira nasa b'chutz how you craven Im Tamid Shel Bein Arbayim? Okay, we'll see in the Gemara. Then he did Kiddush Yadav V'Raglav. He washed his hands and feet. Pashat V'Yadav V'Tavel. And then he went in the Toivel. V'Olav in the Stab. He got up and he dried himself off. And he big day and they brought him his white clothing, the regular big day kuna. V'Lavash V'Kiddush Yadav V'Raglav. And he washed his hands again. Nichnas Leitias HaKafes HaMachta. And he went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim to take out the spoon of the Ketorah and the shovel of ashes. Kiddush Yadav V'Raglav. Pashat V'Yadav V'Tavel. All of them in a stopping, he got up and dried off. V'Yulai Big Day Zav, V'Lavash V'Kiddush Yadav V'Raglav. Nichnas Lahaktik Ketorah Shel Bein Arbayim. And then he went to do the regular daily Ketorah of Mincha. Related as Aneris, and to make the menorah nice. The Kiddush Yadav V'Raglav, and then he again washed his hands with Pashat, the Yarav V'Tava, all of them in a stabik. And then V'Yulai Big Day Atzmai. Then they brought him his own clothing because his job was done. V'Lavash, and he wears it. And then they accompanied him to his house. And they made a big yom tov for anybody that loved him when he would come out of the kodesh, and he didn't die.
Yaakov,
right? Yeah.
When he went in to get the empty utensils, is that he went in because nobody else is allowed to go into the kachim, or like what's the point? Like he finished that job. Like what why can't you send somebody else? Send in the bat boy to get it. Why is he doing it?
Why did he have to do it?
Yeah, I mean, what? He's the heavyweight champ. Why is he doing to get the whole empty stuff? What?
We have to do the whole avoda.
So is that part of the avoda, or just that nobody else is allowed to go in? I don't know if it's important what I'm saying at all, but the whole Masech, I'm wondering that. Why is he going in to get the empty thing?
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that he has to do everything.
I thought Pshat is only he could go in. Nobody else can.
Well, that's my question. It's only because he could go in, or it's because he goes, he's Toivel again, and he goes in and gets it. but it's an empty kalim he's getting.
I think that's when he brings. One second, didn't we say on Shabbos' daf that that's when he brings back the Sefer Torah?
Right. So the harder the pasha reason that he couldn't, nobody else could go in there. But even if theoretically somebody else can go in there, then. No,
I'm saying, but Rabbi, he's not going back in there empty-handed. He's putting back the Sefer Torah back in the aron that they took out for the laning.
No, it's not in that aron kodesh.
Why not? Who says?
It's who says it is.
Machlokes Rashi
Ramban. He's going into kodesh kedusha. What are you talking about?
That safe is not in there. It's in a shul. It's in Anshe Harris. There's a shul in Yerushalayim. They were zoicha. They got the Sefer Torahs. It's not there.
First of all, now you're confusing with the cover of the beamer that we have that's from the Kaisel. Okay, please don't mix up two stories, please.
Fine. That's not from Aron Kodesh.
Either way, the Mishnah's mashma.
One second. I thought that's what we said, that the Sefer came from there.
Aaron, excuse me. What you just said is a contradiction because you just told me nobody could go in. Now the Shamus went in. The president.
No, he took it. The kohen gadol took it out himself.
No,
the Shamish gave it to the president,
he didn't
who gave it to the Skan, who gave it to
the
the
Chazan Knesset takes the Sefer Torah and gives it over to them.
It's not that.
That's
it's
a Mishna. We just had it.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's a shul in Harabayis or a shul in the base of Mikdash, whatever.
It's mashma it's more than just him being the kohen gadol. It's mashma that it's a real part of the avoda because he has to wear big day lavan.
That's
big
true.
That's
a good point.
We're specific just for avoda on Yom Kippur.
I understand that. That's the question. Why?
Elamai.
Why is taking out
cleaning the base of medrash is an important avoda.
I know. You're telling to the wrong person. I know that. But what?
This is the Mekayr. This is part of the avoda. Part of the holy avoda of Yom Kippur is cleaning the ketairos.
No, I don't buy it.
It's a Mishna.
I hear. Okay, I hear. Yeah.
Rabbi, and your shaila is how come he's going back to pick up the empty shovel and pan afterwards?
Yeah, like.
You mean
it's anticlimactic. It's anticlimactic.
You're saying it's a pasnisht, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, it gives him another chance to be nervous that maybe he doesn't make it out alive. Right?
Isn't the point of avodas Yom Kippur to give cover to the Eibishter?
Yeah, I mean that's part of it.
Ultimately, that's what it's all about. So the biggest cover is not leaving dirty utensils in the Kodesh Kodashim.
No, he's not saying to leave it. He's saying let somebody else go get it.
Why can't you put a kohen? Let a kohen head go get it.
Why isn't that just as big a part of an avodah? Giving the biggest cover to the Melech Malchei Malachim. The kohen gadol is part of his avodah.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's go because I got mine soon. And, I don't have it here. That ain't gonna have it. This ain't the city, you know. Sorry about that. Okay, so luckily, even I go to top of theoretically. Okay, so luckily one. So they had a shiloh. Yeah, hey, I mean, this is what we discussed in the Mishnah. We had a Machlokes of Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva in the Mishnah. How do you read the Mishnah? It says, "Im tamet shachar are you craving?" That according to Rabbi Akiva, you brought the seven kvasos with tamet shachar or para oilo siram nasa bechutz in tamet shebenavayim, and then there's a comma, and then the para oilo and the seer that's done outside goes with tamet shebenavayim. I don't know how we come. Or you say this is what it's saying. Even tamet shachar are you craving? They brought all seven with the tamet shachar upara oilo bahadayu, and the para oilo also went in the morning. Usira nasa bechutz in tamet shebenavayim. And the goat that's done outside the chatzar is outside the azara is in the evening. Meaning basically there's two places you can put the comma. So does the first two go with the tamet shel shachar and the other tamet shel ben rabbayim, or is the first one the tamet shel shachar and the other two tamet shel ben rabbayim? That's one question. The su para oilo Rabbi Eliezer the shaira, right? Aimas avidlei. Rabbi Eliezer had left it out. Eliezer didn't even mention that korban. So when is he doing it according to Rabbi Eliezer? That's question 2 on our Mishnah. When did they put the murin of the chatos onto the mizbeach? Right? It doesn't. Nowhere in these Mishnayos does it say when he puts it on the mizbeach. We said that he more actually asked a few how it goes. He puts it into the bowl to be makter. But he's not being makter at 10. It means putting in the bowl in order to be makter. Nowhere since then have we seen anywhere where he actually puts the fats onto the mizbeach. So those are the three kashas. Again, where do you put the kama? What's Rebbe Eliezer's opinion of when you do the par? And when does he start bringing up the emurim? We don't find it explained well. Meaning, it was left out. Basically, what he's saying. Ella, Rebbe Eliezer, the Tana B'Dvei Shmuel. Either it's going with Rebbe Eliezer the way that Tana B'Dvei Shmuel learned it, Ella Rebbe Akiva, Kiddet Tosefta, or it's going like Rebbe Akiva that's learned it in the Sefta. What does this mean? The Tana B'Dvei Shmuel, Rebbe Eliezer Eifer, Yatza, V'asa Eloi Ve'elam. So he says, he goes out, the kohen gadol goes out, and he does his ayil and the ayil of the Klal Yisrael. The emurei chatos, and then he does emurei chatos. Of a para oila, but the para oila, the shivuk pasim, the seira, nasa b'chutz, in Talmud Shabbein Arbaim. That he does with the Talmud Shabbein Arbaim. So that's the way the Tana B'Dvei Shmuel learned Rebbe Eliezer. Even though our Mishnah doesn't say it, but that's the way they said it over there. The Akiva the Tosefta Mahi, and what's the Akiva the Tosefta? The Tani Rebbe Akiva. Para oila, the par of the oila, the shiva kvasim in Talmud Shachar are you craving? The para oila and the seven sheep go with the Talmud Shachar. Shenemar milvad, by the Talmud Shachar says milvad oila saboiker asher oila atomid. Besides for the oila saboiker that you have for oila atomid, that means that there's something else being brought besides for those korbanos. Achakach avoda sayom. After that you bring the avoda sayom on Talmud Beis. Achakach seir hanasa b'chutz, and after that you bring the seir that's done outside in the chatos. Shenemar seir izim echad chatos lovad chatos akipurim. Right, you bring the seir chatos besides for the chatos of the Yom Kippur. V'achakach eloi ve'olam, and then after that his ayil and the ayil of the nation. V'achakach emurei chatos, and then they were chatos. V'achakach Talmud Shabbein Arbaim, and then afterwards the Talmud Shabbein Arbaim. So that's the Machlokes Rebbe Akiva and Rebbe Eliezer of exactly how to bring the order. Now, before the Gemara continues with this brisa, because now coming up is going to be a Machlokes in Rebbe Akiva when you bring these 7 sheep. But first the Gemara asks, we want to explain what the difference is between Rebbe Eliezer and Rebbe Akiva. Why are they having Machlokes? My time is Rebbe Eliezer. So, obviously the steps, you have to do it the way it says. And in the Torah, Ovid Bereishah, the Torah is kohen, and first you do what it says in Vayikra, right? All the korbanos it says do in Vayikra, V'adar, Ovid the Chumash HaPikudim. And then afterwards it says, well, that's what it says in what do you call it? In Bamidbar, right? That's so you do in an order of the Psukim. Rebbe Akiva says no. The reason that Rebbe Akiva says to do it in a different order is because it says Movad Oila Saboika Sher Lo Oila Satamid. It says besides the Oila Saboika that you have for the Oila Satamid. So there's mashma that there were other korbanos brought with the Oila Satamid. Amud mussafin, so the korban mussaf in Talmud Shel Shachar, they brought it with the Talmud Shel Shachar. Yeah, okay. So then Rebbe Eliezer, I Movad Chatasa Kibir my avoda. What does he do? What does Rebbe Eliezer do with the Movad Chatasa Kipurim? Because he says it has to go in the order of the psukim. So what does he do with the word Movad? He's saying that whatever this one, the chatois that go, the korban chatos that's brought inside the Beis HaMikdash, so, and that's for forgotten. Anytime somebody came in, we said this before, that the tshuva is for anybody that comes into the Beis HaMikdash when they're tamei by mistake. So too the chatos that's brought in the chatzar also comes for that kapara. Right? Fine. So then, now the Gemara is continuing back with the brayso. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer Mishmai, Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rabbi Akiva, the echad karev in Talmud Shel Shachar. One of the 7 sheep you bring with the Talmud Shel Shachar, the shisha in Talmud Shel Bein Arbaim, and 6 get brought with the Talmud Shel Bein Arbaim. Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon Eimer Mishmai, but Rabbi Elazar Shimon says in the name of Rabbi Akiva not like that. Shisha craven in Talmud Shel Shachar. 6 of the sheep get brought in the Talmud Shel Shachar. and only one with the Talmud Shebein Arbaim. So again, we're having Machlokes in Rabbi Akiva when you bring these 7. The first sheet of Rabbi Yehuda holds you bring only 1 in the morning and 6 in the afternoon. And Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon says the opposite. You bring 6 in the morning and then 1 in the afternoon. Right. So why did the Rabbanan say to split it up? Trey Kroiksi, because it says Tuksuk. It says besides the which mashma that the korbanos gets brought in the morning. The Yotza, and he goes down and he makes his Ayla. Therefore, Oven Menayu Hacha, Umenayu Hacha. So therefore, we're going to do a little bit of the sheet this way and a little bit of the sheet this way. So that's why they're saying that you split the sheet. So, okay, so how come one sheet that says 6 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, the other sheet that says 1 in the morning and 6 in the afternoon? So, what's the Machlokes? Also, a very interesting Machlokes. You do 1 because it says so you do with the minimum, which is 1. And then you go to the avoda sayom, everything in Yom Kippur, the special things for Yom Kippur. Because if he's going to have to bring 7 sheep right in the beginning before he even starts the avoda of Yom Kippur, he might get weak, and he won't be able to do the Yom Kippur avoda. That's the first sheet. Now we're getting into psychology of a kohen gadol. We're saying we're afraid if he's going to have to chef 7 sheep before he even gets rolling, he's going to be shvach for the rest of the Yom Kippur. Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon, so he says the opposite. No, even the opposite. Since you started bringing the sheep, so bring 6. Avid Sheish, do 6. Dilma Pasha, because maybe he's going to be a pesheya and he's going to make a mistake. So the Gabi avoda sayom is zarazu, because for avoda sayom he's a zarid, and therefore if he's going to not do the 6 in the beginning, he's going to do the avoda sayom properly. But then when it comes to be makar all the other those sheep, he's not going to do it properly, which is a little shver because we say kahanama's reason for everything. So we're saying no, there's reason for the avoda sayom, but not for anything else. Right? So a very interesting machlokes. I can't say.
Jack, we get to pick and choose what was reasons about. No.
That's you know what? Isn't that the way we all are? You get one guy, he's making sure everybody stays quiet. The other guy is, he wants to make sure this.
Reb Aaron, I did that one for you. I figured you'd appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
Isn't Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon Be'etzim agreeing to the svar of Rabbi Yehuda? The Dilma Chalish Kohen Gadol. He's just saying that we're not scared he's going to be chalish during the avodah sayom, because that he's going to be zars. That's so important that we're not worried about that. But we will start to be worried about chalish afterwards, and then maybe it'll be pesheya.
So I thought he's saying really fakir. Look at Rashi. Rashi says Dilma Pasha. Rashi says this that you're chayshish that he's going to get weak. There's no chashash because avodah sayom is going to be zaras. And he's gonna have a lot of strength to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, I think it's like a machlokes. What are we worried about? What he's going to be masha, what he's not going to be masha. Okay, so let's see, guys. The kul Amud miyas chad ayalu. Now I didn't remember this, but this goes back to Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, where we have a machlokes. Was there 1 ram brought on Yom Kippur or 2? Right. So this Gemara's masha is only 1. The kul Amud miyas chad ayalu. Kiman, who's that like? So Kerebi, that's like Rabbi Tanya. Rabbi Omer, Ayel Echad, it says Ayel Echad. Right? So Amar Khan Hua Amud Chumash, the same Ayel that's mentioned in Vayikra is the same one that's mentioned in Bamidbar. It's not 2 different rams, I'm sorry. And Rabbi Elazar Shimon, I mean, no, Shnei Elam, that means that there's 2. There's one from the Pasuk in Vayikra, one in the Pasuk in Bamidbar. Echad Amar Khan, Echad Amar B'chumash HaBikudim. One here and one in B'chumash HaBikudim. My time is the Rebbe, right? So why does Rebbe say that it's the same aisle? Because it says echad, it says echad. It says 1. So it says 1, that means there's only 1. For Elazar Shimon, my echad, what does echad mean? Miyuchad Shabbat, it means to see the most miyuchad that's in the whole, you call it the flock. The Rebbe, nafkalim mivchan nidarechan. How does Rebbe know that it has to be the nicest? Because it says mivchan nidarechan, the most choice. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, what does he do in Mincha? One is for the chayva, and one is for the nadava. Yeah, it's three, and you need it to say twice. You need to say it both. So it's right. So for the nadava and for the chayva. Okay. So I guess we'll stop over here. So basically, there's a whole lot of machlokes that are going on in Rebbe Akiva. There's a machlokes in Rebbe Akiva and Rebbe Eliezer what the order is, and in Rebbe Akiva there's a machlokes how you bring the sheep. All right, fine. I'm sorry about the connection issues.
Okay. So Yaakov, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. I'll meet up with you at some point.
Shkoyach.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Okay,
No problem.
It's Yaakov.
Yeah.
Can you bring a raya from this sugya, like the Rishonim, that the 7 kosher animals that Noach brought into the teva, with 3 pairs plus a single? Because the Pashup Pshat is that there were 7 pairs. But here you see that 7 doesn't necessarily mean 1 block of 7. Here you see the Tanam held it was 6 plus 1.
I hear, maybe. I don't know. I never thought to compare it to the table, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but here the taich of 7 is 6 plus 1, so it could be 3 pairs plus 1.
I hear. All right, the start of my.
All right.
Fine.
Yoshikayach.
Okay, fine.
Altiv.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.